This is the W2 report with Sanji Himura. Here's Sanji.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of the W2 report. I'm your host Sanji Himura. How can one quote be taken so out of context that we have six different contexts on one quote? Let's find out this week on the W2 report. But before we do, let's go over the ground rules with Lord Crocker Squirrel as always.
Rule number 1, clean up the dick. Rule 2, if there are any questions, please refer to rule number 1. Violation of rule number 1 will result in us disavowing your very existence and or telling you to get bent.
And of course, bringing up the rear is Mr. Lindgren.
How can one quote be taken so far out of context that there ends up being 6 different contexts? Well, just ask my coworkers.
Oh!
I'll ask my coworkers. I'll tell you, right? I'll tell you, man. And of course we have, this all begins and probably ends with Jason Schreier. So that kind of tells you what intellectual level we're working on here.
And on my better days, ask me.
Yes, yes. This all begins and ends with Jason Schreier of Bloomberg. But before we start and end there, let us go over the 6 different contexts of the quote. Let's go over the context of the actual quote, because
let's get what the man said first before we figure out exactly before we try and figure out which one of them rearranged the words in the most egregious manner.
Yes, let's do that. Okay.
Here's a spoiler alert. It was Jason.
Well, okay. You got us there. But Larian CEO,
his name is Sven.
Yeah, Sven
Vinke.
Yeah.
Recently gave an interview to Bloomberg over their use of generative AI in their work.
You know, I kept telling Bloomberg that I told Bloomberg at the time that it was a really bad idea to hire Jason at all. Now they know why.
But it's a tale of 2 images. So let's actually bring up the images first.
Yes, let's do that, just so we don't confuse the shit out of ourselves. Never mind our audience. It is that bad.
Yeah, it is that bad. SV says, in terms of generation, let me blow this up here so I can actually read this. Like white boxing, yes, there's things, but I'm 100% sure if you're actually seeing speed ups that much, you're trying more stuff. Having tried stuff out, I don't actually think it accelerates things because there's a lot of hype out there. I haven't really seen, this is really going to replace things. I haven't seen that yet. I have seen a lot of where you initially get excited, this could be cool. Then you say, in the end, this doesn't really do the thing. Even everything is human actors. We are writing everything ourselves. There's no generated assets. you're going to see in the game. We're trying to use generated assets to accelerate white boxing. I mean, to be fair, we're talking about basic things to help the level designers. Shriver goes, what about concept art? So
I can read it.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So that's being used by concept artists. They're using the same like they would use photos. We have like 30 concept artists at this point, or something like that. So we bought a boutique concept art firm at the moment that everyone was using, reducing them because they were going to AI. In our case, it just went up. If there's one thing that artists keep on asking for, it's more concept artists. But what they do is they use it for exploration. Yeah. The other thing I've seen that being used for more and more is placeholders, stub dialogue. Well, yes, so it depends on the scripter. In our case, what we do is white boxing means that the scripts put stub text in there. Some scripters will probably use ChatGPT, some will write it themselves. It's really up to them. But you've found that it's not actually speeding things up. It's just kind of allowing more experimentation. Well, in the sense that speeds it up because your experimentation is broader. But I mean, it's not as if their dialogues are suddenly being written faster. Now, on the contrary, it's not as if you're seeing the scripting go faster. What's happening is that there's just more stuff being done. But I mean, if you use ChatGPT, it helps you organize things, gets you a faster until it screws up then. Right, you will always have to alter it yourself. And I mean, like, I'm non-native English, so it's easier for me to make my phrases without mistakes. So it helps with that.
All right. Part two.
Doing that without the mistakes. He's talking about doing it in his native language and then get as best he can. Or excuse me, trying to do this in English as best he can, using ChatGPT or whatever the hell it is he's using, like in company emails and shit, to point out the errors in what he's written, so that things go smooth. Oh no, an actual use for these things are called spell checkers. We've been using those for who knows how long. Makes proofreaders' jobs a whole lot easier, We've been using this. That's the technology he's talking about there. We've been using for 40 years. Basic spell checkers have been around since the early 1980s.
Right. As long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
Now you can't even get software now. You can't even get software that you can input things into without a goddamn spell checker anymore. They're ubiquitous.
Right.
And that doesn't seem to have done the. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's done the proofreading industry any lasting harm. More proofreaders now than anything else.
Yeah.
And I have done proofreading. It's fun, not.
Well, Photoshop. If we really want to go there, Photoshop hasn't done the art industry very much harm.
It's actually helped them.
It actually helped them. Yes.
Because you can go. Because now you don't have to put the piece of paper on the. You don't have to put the piece of paper over the screen, so that you can plug in little dots everywhere. Oh wow!
Every advancement in technology in the last 20 to 30 years has helped the art industry today. People were complaining about. People were complaining.
But if you give them the piece of software like this, they're going to take our jobs. No, you guys don't generally lose your jobs.
No,
it's more like you guys generally can't get them in the first place because what you're trying to accomplish and your style doesn't match whatever it is the client wants.
No. I mean, I mean, you can basically read the rest of the quotes here. But how does Jason Schreiber screw up this badly that we have not one but 6 different results out of 6 different tones of articles out of that one quote?
Yeah, it's like looking at this interview, Jason Shoelicker is actually like passive aggressively hostile with Sven.
Yes, he
Actually,
is.
he's actually passive aggressive with just about everybody.
Yeah, but it's like he's passive aggressive against Sven, where it's like with a lot of the larger corporations, he does tend to be passive aggressively for them.
Well, in Jason's case, I am firmly of the opinion that he went into this interview looking for a way to turn the whole thing into a hit piece, and it seems like he actually succeeded to a point.
Well, he succeeded. He succeeded in not once, not twice, but 6 different times. Shall we actually go into the articles themselves?
Let's have a look at a couple of them. Sure.
All right.
Sounds fun.
Here's Eurogamer. Larian is using generative AI, confirmed CEO, but Divinity won't contain anything AI generated.
Yeah, this is Eurogamer. Okay, I don't know why, but Eurogamer seems to enjoy internet-based fellatio of Schreier, almost to the degree of Jeff Keighley.
And Divinity, you also got to keep in mind, Divinity was announced just last week. So of course it's going to have alpha assets. Of course it's going to have alpha gameplay, what have you. In its trailer. Ed Nightingale wrote this hit piece. Larian is using generative AI as part of its game development process, but CEO Sven Vinsickle has confirmed the studio's new Divinity game won't include anything AI generated. Vinsickle discussed the topic of AI with Bloomberg following the announcement last week at the Game Awards of its new Divinity game. It's the studio's next project following the hugely successful Baldur's Gate 3, which was a hugely particularly expansive game. As such, the studio is looking into AI with its follow-up, but Vinsickle confirmed it hasn't massively improved efficiency. Larian uses AI tools to explore ideas, expand on internal presentations, develop concept art, write placeholder text, Bloomberg reported. In Divinity, then, everything is human actors. We're writing everything ourselves, said Vinsickle. And while the use of AI has led to some pushback internally, Vinsickle believes at this point everyone at the company is more or less okay with the way we're using it. Larian is aiming to cut down on development time for Divinity to complete production in less time than Baldur's Gate 3. AI is one potential.
Baldur's Gate 3, they gave us the early access version at full price, mind you, years before we got before its final release.
Yeah. AI is one potential tool, while another is developing Divinity's quests and storylines parallel rather than linearly. The studio's also growing in size. I think a lot of founders have the same problem. said Vince Sickle. I have to be large, otherwise I can't make my video game. With growth suddenly comes whole bunch of responsibilities that you don't have necessarily think you were ever going to have, but you have them, and then you got to make the best of them. Size exposes you to huge new problems that you couldn't imagine existed. Back at CGC last year, Vince Sickle discussed the topic of AI with Eurogamer, so we certainly don't see it as a replacement for developers, but we do see it as something that allows us to do more stuff. Vince Sickle said at the time. He continued, I do see it as an additional tool that you can put on top of the things that are in the game, and we are certainly doing experiments with that. But as I said, we're still far from being usable in that sense.
Oh yeah, just so the audience knows what white boxing is, it's literally it's an extremely basic level layout draft where instead of ramps and stairs and whatnot, you just have white boxes.
Yep.
Okay, so we have articles from Palette Swap, PC Gamer, Windows Central, Game Developer, and Shitaku. Pick your poison.
Okay, let's have Shitaku next. Shitaku.
Head of Larian responds to generative AI backlash. Holy fuck, guys, we're not pushing hard for or replacing concept artists with AI.
Holy crap. You know what? I doubt very strongly he used those words. And even if he did, it's because you people stuck yourself so far up his ass you could taste what he had for breakfast.
Yeah, that's the difference. With these companies, human centipede is just a modus operandum, not a torture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, don't remind me of that movie.
Yeah. That's not what he was talking about. Trust me, that's not what he was talking about.
Larian Studios is experimenting with generative AI, and fans are not too happy.
Only because you said so.
Only because you made sure to make them unhappy about it.
Well, let's see what he says. What he says about it. Okay, Larian Studios is apparently bullish on generative AI, despite backlash against the technology from fans and some of his own developers. Studio head Sven Vinsickle says the Baldur's Gate 3 maker has embraced it for exploring ideas and for early prototyping of new content. Bloomberg reports that Larian has been pushing hard on generative AI, using things like PowerPoint presentations, placeholder text, and even concept art. The RPG powerhouse has reportedly moved ahead with the tools, even against the wishes of some staff at the company, although Vinsickle believes most of the team is on board with how it's currently being implemented.
Okay, technically that's what he said. However, he didn't say those things in that order or at that speed. He's being misquoted. He's being quoted by being misquoted.
Yes.
Some people call that efficiency. I call it bullshit on a stick. No, really, it's fucking bullshit. And if you call them on it, they'll call it paraphrasing, which is wrong. You don't do that, especially if you are trying to be a journalist. You stick to the facts and don't add your own personal hot take. And you did both of those
in one paragraph.
Yeah. And then some.
here's Van Sickle's previous comments on AI, which argued that human creativity will still be the defining factor behind great games. I don't think you would have a competitive advantage if you do use AI in the finished product, because it's going to be what's available to everybody. If the baseline goes up because generation is available to everybody, fine. That's a new reality we're in, but you're still going to want to create something special on top of that, and I think that's where teams like us make the difference. I don't think that people in my position say, "Oh, we'll replace everybody with AI," are doing the right thing. They're doing the wrong thing. But what I do think is we're going to jump forward in kinds of games we make. We're going to make our games differently. But to say that it'll replace craftsmanship, I think we're very far from it. At the time, Ben Sickle was talking about using AI tools to help spot plot inconsistencies across branching dialogue and sprawling networks of interacting narrative elements. But flagging potential issues is very different from using AI to generate material like concept art or even placeholder text. Do you disagree with that statement? But flagging potential issues is very different from using AI to generate material like concept art or even placeholder text.
No, I don't think I wouldn't disagree with that. I think I would tread carefully, but because remember, an AI is only as good as the training material and the person that coded the fucking thing.
And Vink's artists aren't using AI to create the concept art itself. They're using the AI to create models, to create a baseline on which their own artists iterate. On which human hands
Trust me,
iterate.
No concept artist wants to start pushing off stuff that's AI generated, because A, they'd be out of a job, and B, they'd be out of a fucking job. Especially if AI is doing better art than they are. You don't want to do that.
That and Larian has an epidemic of taking pride in their work.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's think about this logically.
There's logic here?
Well,
please elucidate. I have seen none.
Okay. Where Larian is coming from is very logical. They're avoiding using assets from the asset store.
Yeah.
So my logic is, if they're using AI to generate placeholder assets, instead of going to the Unity or Unreal Engine asset store, what's the frickin' problem here?
The problem is that your logic is completely and utterly malformed. You're trying to compare a giraffe to a banana. It's not going to work. Except that both of them are vaguely yellow.
However, if they're doing this in-house, and I mean, I see where you're coming from, but if they're trying to do this in-house, and they don't want to credit the asset maker. So for example, I'm going to turn on my camera here for the first time ever on the W2 report. So this little token right here, you can see that it's cheaply made. Probably doesn't cost more than 20 cents.
If that depends on what it's made out of.
Hard plastic.
Hard plastic? Yeah. 2-3 cents probably more like.
Okay. If if I can make the argument that I can make this cheaply made plastic for half a cent using AI, using using a half a cent's worth of AI's time, and I don't have to pay royalties to an asset store. What's to say that AI can't help improve AAA developments? What's to say that AI can't improve the quality of AAA development as a whole?
There's two problems with that. Number one, yes, you could probably make it faster and cheaper, but is that gonna get passed down to the consumer? Probably not. Especially
Yes.
not if your name is Friendo. But that's just me ragging on Friendo because I can. Yes, I know. Cheap shot. Sue me. Yes, please, Nintendo, do sue me for taking a cheap shot at your ass. Because I did. I'll even admit to it in open court. But you gotta give me you gotta meet me halfway here. You have to provide in that you had it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sure, we could make the little piece of plastic with half a cent. Probably costs half a cent. It probably costs something about that for the plastic in the first place, and printing costs. Then printing on it maybe another quarter penny or what the fuck ever. But if you're going to, and if you were doing this the old-fashioned way, it'd probably take you about 20 cents worth of just labor alone.
Right.
So, so you managed to get you pitch this to people that are making those things, and you can get it done in a cent. Let's go with that. Just round numbers here.
Okay.
Okay. In an object that sells for I don't know $2. Let's go with that, or even $8. Let's go with $8. Are the cost savings going to get passed on to the consumer? Is the price going to go down because you're spending less? No, you're going to take the profit.
Obviously not. Obviously not. But
no buts. Your analogy is no good. It just isn't. Now,
no.
Back to the original statement. It's kind of like it's actually more like laying out a circuit board. You can get the AI to assist you in laying out a block diagram, and you can use the AI to determine whether or not your circuit's going to do what you expect them to do. You can do those things, and it would cut down on testing time. Probably even cut down some on initial fabrication, prototypes, and that sort of thing. Your development time goes down, and therefore costs go down. But how many people don't have a job because you did that? It probably not at the rate at what Sven here says is going to be. It says is working. Says they're working with. Probably not very many. Maybe one or two at most. And even then, you still have to have somebody go back and make sure that the vibe coding all still works.
Okay.
Okay. So you're talking about. So we're looking at some time and therefore cost saving, um, and you can get the same work done, maybe in 2/3 of the time you had set up for it. Great. Um, you save a third of the amount of time that you needed or that you thought you were going to need. Um, that guy gets his shit done quicker, and he can move on to another part of the project. Oh, I don't know, maybe the fabrication stage or whatever. But again, if you're laying out a schematic, you do it in blocks first, and that's what Larian seems to be saying they're doing. Okay, so what?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. That would be no different than whipping something together in a CAD program, rather than actually going out and laying it all out, um, and laying it all out on the ground that you're supposed to be building this house.
Right.
Essentially, Larian isn't. It's like a to bring us back to the whole white boxing conversation. Like Larian isn't generating entire levels. They're generating just the layouts. And then as they build the level, they're tweaking it by hand as they go.
Yep, and they have to.
Yeah.
They would have to, because actually just saying, okay, I want a level that does this, and the AI just puts something together, and you look at it and go, what the fuck are you doing? And then you have to start from scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
Iteration, even then, just iterations on description that you feed the AI, even if it is going to wind up generating the final product, is going to take weeks, months. We also need it to be able to do this and this and this and this and this. And that's actually a way to get around scope creep when you think about it. Because I have yet to run into a project that hasn't actually suffered from at least some degree of scope creep, including several of my own. Yes, I have had projects completely get away from me doing that. You start out with a small You start out with your original batch of small problems. And you say, well, this could probably work better over here. Tweak, 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 tweak. Oh, now I got to fix this, and it just snowballs.
Absolutely.
The problem, of course, is until the snowball's finished, until the snowball's finished accumulating, you're not going to see what the end result is. Hey, I had to cut that out for you quick.
Yeah.
Well, this is what you told me. Like, no, this is nothing like what I want. No, you told me to do this. Here, let me show you what you said.
Yes.
I dare you to do something. I dare you to get better. And then you have to go back and you have to edit it all down to make sure that you don't wind up with huge problems.
Right.
It still comes down to somebody's brain pan having to work through the problem.
Yeah, I've had my own line about a scope creep. It's like I say, it slices, it dices, it whitens your teeth. It's something that sounds good at the time, but then it's like, the more you think about it, wait a minute, these don't need to be in the same game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Personally, it if my whole argument with the whole if it can be made cheaper argument, it's like you can make it if you can make the game cheaper, you don't have to charge as much. You don't have to charge as much. You don't have to have $70, $80 games at the end of the day. You could still have $60, $65 games.
Yeah, you could pull a Silk Song and make it $20. and
Yeah.
watch everybody else fight and sputter.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still have cheaper priced games, and you can still have line go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the line doesn't go up as much as they want. Well, that's true regardless. But
Yeah.
I was poking around at new Pokemon Legends game, Z Alpha, whatever the fuck they want to call it today. And yeah, I would not be surprised to discover it was probably about 90% AI generated, like in any way, shape, or form, at all. I mean, you guys remember the old BioWare games, right? Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The original Baldur's Gate games, like in Neverwinter Nights. Sitting down to play one of those, you're talking about 9 novels worth of text. I believe it.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of people a lot of time to write. Okay, scratch that. Actually, at that time, you didn't have large development teams that could be doing this. You don't need uber shit levels of staffing to make a game that would actually grab somebody's attention and hold on to it for 3 weeks straight. You didn't have to. As long as you had somebody who could actually write words, you'd be fine.
Right. Well, let me actually do something real quick. Because I think it's about time we wrap this up.
Yeah. We didn't get to see all the various hot takes, but frankly, we got the ones that were we
got the
did
ones
get
that
a fair
mattered.
sample of them,
The
and
more egregious ones.
We got the more egregious ones anyway.
Yeah.
Our next W2 report will be the Smooth Finish 2025. We get to rank our top 5 games that we played in 2025, as well as bullshit around for the close of the year. And don't forget the W2 report live at the Washington Chronicles, at the Washington State Gaming Expo.
Yalla, Washington. That will be from the 6th to the 8th of February this next year. Not this year, next year. We will be there whether we actually have a live panel or not. We'll still be there. You can go look around for people modeling the W2 report shirts.
Yes, we will definitely be there.
And we'll even show you where to get your own if you like them.
Yeah. Yes, if we do have a panel, we will talk about the most prolific asset flipper of them all, Digital Homicide.
Oh yeah.
That'll be fun.
Hey, they flip their own games, like entire games with just palette swaps. It's hilarious. Or in at least 2 cases where the difference between the first game and the second game of the series was 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Also on tap is we've yet to determine a name for it, but we're going to attempt to return to Anime North Texas on
Irving, right?
Irving, yes.
The Irving Tales.
Oh, good idea. Let's go with that. We're gonna return with the Irving Tales on August 7th through the 9th of 2026.
Although there may only be one of us present, physically present.
Yes, I will be physically present because reasons.
Yeah. We're already having to transport two of you people. We're already having to transport two people for the Washington Chronicles. So the Tales of Irving, or the Irving Tales, whatever way it is we decide there. We'd have to we'd also have to ship two people, considering we live in a nice fat triangle. One in the northwest, one to the east, and one in the south.
Yes.
A lovely triangle.
Yes, we live in a lovely triangle from each other, so yeah.
But I don't know if I want to. If I don't know if I'm going to make references to the 142nd fastest gun in the West.
Although I think it might be entirely possible. We're gonna have to talk that out later. But although it might be entirely possible to bring you both down here, I don't know. We'll have to decide that later. We'll have to talk that over. But
I think we're just going to dispatch Sanji.
Yeah, although you're going to have to dispatch Sanji. Okay. So, with the more you know and knowing is half the battle, I am Sanji Imura. Thank you for watching the W2 report for 2025. Until between now and the smooth finish, beware, the taxman cometh.
Hello, folks. This is Morgan Freeman. This concludes our broadcast day. I'm Morgan Freeman. Good night.